All right. It's that time. We're back.
Are we really back for it?
It's the instant classic. The combo. The Dolph, the Ford, the Unfiltered Copenhagen. What do you think?
I think that was the most avant-garde introduction we've had so far.
All right.
I like the experimental
Got to try something
part
new.
of it. Yeah.
When I was editing all the old ones like a few weeks ago, I was having a really hard time because first off, it's a lot of content you got to re-listen to. And then you got to re-listen again and again while you're getting all the levels right and you're editing like the audio plugins to make sure it sounds as good as possible. And I'm always basically listening to the first, 2 minutes of it over and over again. And I realized that they basically all sound so much alike that I'd be like, wait a minute, am I uploading the wrong episode here?
Yeah.
I was like, wait, is this? Because like the first thing we always talk about is
the weather,
the standard intro. Then it's the weather. Then you would say, "Oh man, I think I worked up a little bit of a sweat walking over here."
Do I say that
like
a comment?
It's seriously in like every fucking episode. That's the intro is like the weather, and you getting sweaty. So how was your walk over here today?
Well, today was chill.
Yeah,
I got here earlier, and I stopped by Bilka. I met you at Bilka actually.
Yeah,
just do some shopping.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I had time to freshen up before sitting down and getting this going.
Yeah. Well, we figured we'd get the shopping out of the way today. We usually go at like 7 or 8 in the evening on Sunday to get our grocery shopping done. We just figured why not knock it out early.
You have those rituals? You have not rituals, but plans, I guess, like that?
They're not firm, but I mean, yeah, like Friday night, you don't want to go shopping. Saturday during the day, you just want to chill, or at least I do. And then, Sunday, like it's kind of the routine to get back into the week. Okay, we go shopping, get all our shit together, get ourselves sorted for the week.
Yeah, sounds like you're more organized than I am for it.
You got to be organized.
Or maybe, yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit more spontaneous. I wouldn't call it spontaneous, but
less rigid.
Well, yeah. Let's just put it like that. I guess we can put a positive spin on it as opposed to saying that I don't even know what word to use, like some kind of.
Are you a procrastinator? Do you wait
I definitely am.
Do you wait until there's like nothing left in the house?
Well, I don't wait until there's nothing left, but I will as long as I have food to make, I'm not going to go buy new food.
What about light bulbs? Like, when light bulbs start going out,
yeah.
And you know how when you're a single guy, you can let light bulbs. You're like, I should get a new light bulb there, but all right, I've still got enough light. You'll basically go down to the point where there's like one bulb left in the bathroom, and you're like, okay, well, I still got that one light, and then finally it goes out, and you don't have it's like completely dark in the bathroom. You're like, all right, I guess I should get some new light bulbs now.
No, it's not that bad for me. I mean, usually what happens is if a light bulb goes off, maybe it will be off for a couple of days because I forget to buy it, and then I only remember it when it's night, and I try to turn it on, and it's like, fuck, now it's evening. I don't want to go buy it now,
Yeah.
So I need to kind of remember to buy it before. But every time I go buy them, I think, okay, I'll just buy 2 for the eventuality that next time
the next one goes out.
Yeah. But then every time I look at them, I'm like, fuck, they're a lot more expensive than I thought they were, you know?
Yeah, those light bulbs
I'll bring only one.
Man, they're so expensive.
I don't get it.
And on top of that, it'll be like, oh yeah, this light bulb has a lifetime of like 50,000 running hours. And you calculate it and it's like, you're like, wow, this light bulb should last me like 5 years. No way. Like 6 months later, that fucking bulb is out. You're like, I don't know how you guys were testing, but shit is fucked up.
Yeah, maybe it's the higher limit. I think it's like the weather, when you go, it's going to be between 6 and 12 degrees. And then it's like, it's like 8 degrees all day. Yeah. And then there is a peak sometime when the ray of sunshine actually comes out.
Man, at our house that we sold before we moved here, we had
one that's all sunk down now?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was in the Houston Hurricane Harvey, so I think it was in pretty bad shape. But we had like 12 big floodlights all over. Like we had a really big open kitchen, so we had these 12 floodlights or something in the ceiling. And man, they died so quickly. I felt like we had to buy new bulbs every like 2 or 3 months in that fucking kitchen. Wow. It was so
well. If you have a lot of them, the probability that they're gonna go off, it's also higher.
Yeah, but it was also like these bulbs should last like 20,000, 30,000 hours or something. You know what I mean? Like some ridiculous amount. And maybe they measured it as if you just only left them on without turning them, like cycling them off and
Yeah.
on. Because I feel like that had some impact. But I mean, who's going to leave the lights on?
So you could just leave them on all the time. If they even last longer.
Yeah, just waste some power.
Well,
It's a lot of power.
Yeah, okay. So you're thinking about the environment. Well, the environment, you also, if you're...
Just because I'm American doesn't mean I don't think about the environment, Dolph. I mean, I know it's easy to assume.
My fault for it. I apologize. I don't know what took over my prejudiced mind.
No. All right. Well, speaking of the environment, they found something interesting in the environment off of Kuya Bay, or Kua Bay, however you want to say it. Yeah, something like that.
What did they find for it? Tell me.
They found Kim Wall's head and legs.
Wow.
Yeah.
The last pieces of the puzzle.
Well, I don't think they have her arms yet.
Okay, so
or
there's
maybe
something. What? Yeah.
Well, the head is kind of one of the most important pieces of the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
Because
also,
last time we talked, he had changed his story again to say that he was holding a hatch for her on a submarine, and she was going in, and he slipped and fell, and the hatch smashed her head, and basically, I don't know. He's like, she was gravely injured with a head injury, and she's basically dead or dying. Well, they found the head, and there's no sign of any fractures or damage like that to her head.
Oh, no. That is a surprise right there. Are you implying that he might be lying for it?
It's not boding well for his story. I would almost say at this point, it's kind of an open and shut case. I mean, at the beginning, on episode 19, when we were talking about the different ways that we thought it could have gone down based on the limited information we had. I mean, even at that point, I think we felt, okay, there was some foul play involved, and probably most likely, like, this was like a murder, right? But there was still not enough information, and so you could make a case that maybe it was just an accident, and maybe he freaked out in the cleanup of it, or, you know what I mean, did the wrong thing. But so he's changed his story a bunch of times. Every time it seems like it's almost like a cruel joke they play with him. They're like, okay, let's see if we can get him to change his story again. He changes it, and they're like, oh, just by the way, we also have some evidence that makes that a lie as well. So,
so tell us what happened for it. Like, what details they found it?
Okay, there's a few new pieces of information about this.
Okay,
but so about 5 days ago, there was some information that came out on October 4th. Prosecutors presented new evidence in the case against Danish inventor Peter Madsen on Tuesday, saying the body of Kim Wall, who died on Madsen's personal submarine, was riddled with more than a dozen stab wounds. At the pretrial hearing, prosecutors said police also found a hard drive in Madsen's laboratory containing images of women who were tortured and murdered.
Okay, now that is interesting.
Yeah. Let me scroll down to where they talk about these videos they found. They also found Wall's DNA on Madsen's nails, nose, and neck.
But that was a long time ago, or what?
I think so, yeah.
And that by itself, I don't think that necessarily incriminates
not
him.
Not alone. But
I mean,
it usually shows that there was some, like, especially somebody else's skin under your nails is usually used as a proof that there was some sort of either physical altercation or physical contact. Like, you were in close contact and proximity with the victim when or around the time they died.
Yeah, but I mean, if there was some kind of sexual activity, there's also a very big chance
scratching the back, maybe under the nails,
or scratching the nose. I don't know, whatever he's into.
Well, sure. Okay, and so the prosecutor said police found footage on the computer in his laboratory that depicts the torture and decapitation of women, videos that appear not to have been produced by Madsen, but which we presume to be real. These videos indicate that one might be interested in fetish, torture, and killing.
Yeah, now that gets a bit...
Yeah, that's like snuff or like gore type, like watch people die kind of.
Well, but that's which just by itself, I don't think it's really...
Not alone. I mean, I think you have to be sort of either very curious or
just morbid.
Yeah, because like I don't know if you remember, like, maybe I don't know, I feel old now, but maybe it was 10, 12, 13 years ago, there was those videos that came out of, I think, like, I forgot the guy's name, but he was, like, beheaded by, like, Al Qaeda or something, and
Mm-hmm.
they had that video of him, like, getting
Mm-hmm.
his head cut off,
Yeah.
and that shit was, like, haunting. Like,
Yeah.
to this
I
day,
didn't watch it.
yeah, to this day, that video is, like, it really, put a hamper on,
Yeah.
like, because you hear, wow, there's a video of something really shocking. I guess human curiosity's first instinct is kind of be like, oh, okay, I'm, like, curious about whatever. And then you see something like that and you're like, okay, never mind. I'm really not that curious anymore. Um, but there is a community of people that look at these kind of like morbid, watch people die type videos. And I don't think that everybody that watches them is like, just damaged goods or sick or mentally ill.
No.
Although I feel like there is probably a percentage of them that are.
I
But
mean,
the fact that you have videos like that in combination with all the other information we have. So like he's got some videos of girls like, and it's women too, specifically being tortured and decapitated from
mhm.
my understanding. So maybe he did have some sort of like snuff fetish or whatever, and then this time took it like brought it into reality instead of just watching videos. Maybe he got her on the sub, yeah, forced himself or whatever, and went through with it. I mean, that seems like the most likely or reasonable explanation at this point to me.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely doesn't help his case. No.
And then
Uh,
plus he's changed his story so many times. I mean, to me, it's
yeah.
open and shut. I mean, if you give me the gavel, I'm banging on it. Guilty, maximum sentence, done, easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard now with all the new evidence to again, like you said. I don't know if it was clear from the previous podcasts or not, but it seems to me it always seemed to me that this was always leaning more towards the is guilty
There was yeah,
than
there was some
than
foul
the
play.
not.
Like from the very beginning, I was like, okay, there's some foul play.
There was obviously some reasonable doubt there, but if I had to make a choice between 1 and 0
Yeah,
or guilty or not guilty, I'd probably say it was guilty. But yeah, the evidence just keeps piling up, and these stories keeps changing, and then there's new evidence that
then contradicts his news
contradicts the
story
news story,
every time.
and it just feels like some kind of cat and mouse
It's not looking good for
chase.
him.
No,
Um, so yeah, that was about the videos. But right, the police. So I guess that was October 4th. October 7th, that is yesterday. Swedish journalist Kim Wall's head and legs have been found together in a bag weighted down by metal in the waters near Copenhagen.
oh,
Another bag found nearby contained her missing clothes. According to the police, there are no signs of any skull fractures consistent with the story offered by Peter Madsen that the 70-kilogram hatch on his submarine fell on her head and caused her death. Forensic dentist has also confirmed the head and limbs belong to Wall.
forensic dentist.
Yeah.
I'm-
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I just think it's funny that the dentist is the one confirming that
Oh, yeah, yeah.
the limbs belong to her.
Well, because they'll do it through dental identification of the teeth, like
Yeah, but
based
not
on
the
the.
limbs.
Sure, but they can once they know. For instance, he can confirm that the head is hers by the tooth
Mhm.
matching the dental records, and then of course he can match that the DNA of the head itself then in
Matches
that
the
case
limbs.
matches the limbs.
Yeah,
So I mean, sure, maybe it sounds kind of silly, but
but why does he need to use the
science,
tooth?
the dental records, because the head is probably quite decayed, but the teeth will last forever or a long time.
Okay, but okay.
They,
But
they,
if the head is decayed, why is the limbs not decayed as well?
Well, the limbs are probably decayed as well, but that doesn't mean they still don't have some flesh. But I mean, unless she has a tattoo on one of those arms, there's no other way to definitively prove. And if it's just a woman's head that's been decayed, he could argue, well, that's not her head, that's just some woman's head. But if they go through and take the dental records on file for her
Mhm.
and then x-ray the skull, and then the dental records are basically exactly the same. Like your teeth are a very unique fingerprint of
Mhm.
who you are, like the way that your teeth and everything are
So,
lined up.
so does this mean that if when the head, in this case, decays,
Mhm.
that there's not gonna be any DNA evidence there besides?
Well, no, there could have been for sure. It's just I mean, yeah, probably if they didn't have any dental records at all, I guess they could have matched her torso's DNA to the
Okay,
head. There's
okay,
probably
okay.
some,
Yeah.
but I mean, in addition, since you have the teeth there and the
Hmm.
dental records are really a well-known and I guess
Well,
well-studied area.
not well known enough to me.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's that's been used for a long time for
Interesting. All
identification.
right.
So yeah, there was like a Swedish police dog that was helping, I don't know, locate the body, which is crazy because it was apparently like a few meters underwater, and somehow this dog led them to where it was. I'm so surprised that they found the other pieces
Yeah, me too.
because when they
They
remember
were.
that they called off the search, like I don't know, they had been searching for several weeks and then they called it off and said they could be ready to resume it at any time, but since they had already found the torso and stuff, like they were like, yeah, they thought it was a bit of a long shot that they were going to find anything else, which
Yeah.
I
Oh,
agree
sorry.
with.
Yeah, I wonder how long they've been searching. If it was just a kind of a one-off thing, like, oh, let's search for something today, and then they found it.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be, it seems to me that they knew exactly where to search.
Well, I mean, I feel like there was an article I read. I think that they also contacted. They work with like the God,
Meteorological.
meteorological. Jesus Christ, that word is hard. Um, they met with the weather service here,
Yeah.
DMI in Denmark, and and they talked, I guess, about the weather patterns during like the time that it would have been potentially dumped over. They probably looked at the tides and currents. They probably had a general idea of how far it could have traveled and at least an idea of the potential areas it could have been in. And since it wasn't in like an open ocean, but rather like, kind of the Baltic Sea, or yeah, in this case, I guess the Uesund and Kattegat. Well, I guess Kattegat is the north side of it, so it wasn't even that far. It was in Kuya Bay.
Hmm.
So yeah, I guess, I mean, it was kind of the best case scenario for them to be able to find it.
It's still a
But
lot of, it's still
I
a lot
still
of
feel
space,
it's
that you have to.
impressive.
Yeah.
It's impressive. And this for sure is gonna put like the nail in the coffin of all these different stories. It's just like at this point, dude, you're guilty.
Yeah.
Just give it up.
Do you want to call the next story is gonna?
Huh?
Do you gonna call the next story is gonna come up with
Oh, do
for
you
us?
think he's gonna come out with something? Oh yeah, no doubt he probably will. I mean, he's screwed at this point and he's been offering nothing but bullshit stories up to this point. So maybe he'll finally come out with the real story and like just say what really happened.
Yeah, but even if he comes out with the real
Nobody's gonna
story,
believe it anymore.
how we're gonna know that it is the
No.
real story?
No. I don't know, but I think that the trial should be commencing pretty soon. I want to say I felt something like I saw some data about October 31st. I don't know if that's correct, but
So how long is this? It's like the best month and a half, or when did this happen?
I don't remember. When did she get killed? Last seen August 21st.
21st. Yeah, that's around.
Oh, wait, no. Okay. She boarded his submarine August 10th. Her
Okay, two
torso was
months.
discovered August 21st.
2 months.
Yeah, 2 months. Well, it's fucked up, man.
Well, it is. We already went through all of that.
Yeah,
We
it's
already
a
made the jokes. We already
it's a sad story
called
for her.
Yeah, I don't know what else we can add to this. To be honest,
No, I think this is it. I mean, this is pretty open and shut at this
it
point.
seems to me that it's pretty much the end of the subject. But well, to be honest, I kind of hope not, because I'm curious to see what's going to happen.
It's definitely made national news too. Like it's in the top.
It's not just national,
International. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess I should have said international. Yeah, because it's on like the top pages of Google News, and it's on like Reddit news subreddits, like very high up, and so like the whole world is taking a look at this, which I guess is also, I mean, understandable given that the story is like, you remember we talked about it being like, if somebody told you this story, you would think it was fake or like a fiction movie or
Yeah.
novel. Like you just couldn't believe like the way this story played out. Um, so I guess that also is part of the reason it has so much attention on it. It's because people just can't really believe, yeah, how this went down, the submarine thing, how sick and twisted this guy's got to be to mutilate the corpse like that, and apparently have snuff films and stuff on his computer. It was the laboratory computer, so he's going to argue that it was like somebody in his laboratory that was, not him, so somebody else that was watching.
That would be
these.
funny, because we actually understand file systems and digital forensics
And
to a
access
point
times
where
and
we
stuff.
could probably figure out if what he's saying, if he said something like that, we could probably figure out if that's true or not.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt that digital forensics people could take a look in that and see like the access times and logs and
There's just a lot of even the
yeah,
person who
yeah. There's a lot of ways that you could prove
who's
or
logged
disprove
in,
that.
but then somebody might have used this login for it.
Yeah,
Well,
well, always lock your computer then.
I'm I feel it's the end of an, I don't want to say era, but yeah, it seems that we're gonna have to find something else to.
Some other big unsolved mystery.
Yeah,
It's like an unsolved mystery to me for the most part has been solved.
yeah.
I mean, even if we don't know every single last detail at this point,
I
we
think we
know
know
enough
enough.
to get the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went down there. He had some weird fetish. She wasn't on board with it, or maybe she was. He took it too far.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. I guess the only thing we don't really know is the motives, but at least
Or the exact timeline, but of what had
yeah.
happened
But
inside the thing.
but what actually happened seems to be more and more obvious.
Yeah. Well, the general broad strokes, right?
Yeah,
She
of
got
course.
in there. They probably had some fetish thing. He killed her.
No torpedo.
Yeah, no torpedo tube, I guess. Well, we don't know that. But it gives me some faith in the Danish justice system. It seems like first off that they worked tirelessly about getting the evidence and getting all the story together. And I mean, hell, being able to find all those parts in the water and stuff like that. I mean, they didn't skimp. They didn't just give up and say, "Well, it's too hard out here to find that." They found it, and like basically, in my mind, they'll be able to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the dude is guilty. So you'll never have in your mind a question about whether he was or he wasn't. Like, what if they found him guilty, but there really wasn't a whole lot of evidence, and it's just like, yeah, he probably did, but people have been jailed for crimes they didn't commit that seemed pretty open and shut, but weren't. So I think it's good when you have a real preponderance of evidence. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I've watched 12 Angry Men.
That's what you want.
Have you ever seen
Yeah,
12 Angry
yeah,
Men?
yeah. When I was really young.
Oh, it's a classic. Yeah, but it's a classic movie. I recommend to everyone.
Yeah.
Just like no, let's not get into the recommended movies because
I got some new stuff for you.
you do.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
just-
talk. We'll talk about
I'm
it at
just
the end.
kidding.
So we have we're pretty much kind of done with a national, how do you call it,
saga.
villain. Let's say, let's just put it as a national villain.
Mhm.
But there's a national hero as well, right? We have a story about the national hero,
Yeah, we do. The Pizza Man.
the Pizza Man. Oh, sorry. So tell me about the Pizza Man, Ford. Who's this Pizza Man?
Saluting local news in brief, Dolph. Saluting the contributions of the Pizza Man. Denmark likes people who deliver pizzas. When Inga Støjberg, the integration minister, urged citizens to report pizza workers to the authorities who they suspected might be potential
did?
illegal
I
immigrants,
didn't know about this.
there was an uproar. Many shared the hashtag, what is this, anmelden pizza?
Yeah.
What's that? What's anmelden mean? Is it like, I don't actually know that word.
Mm,
Is that?
I think I know, but I guess I'm too embarrassed to say it, and then it's gonna be something
Wait a minute.
completely.
I don't know this. I
completely
don't think
out of
I've
the-
ever seen this word.
I
Oh, to report.
think yeah.
Oh, okay. So melden is to report, or like melda.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, to report a pizza man. So basically, everybody started sharing this hashtag to report a pizza baker. It shot up to number 1 on Twitter's trending list for Denmark as the pizza resistance went into overdrive.
When was this?
I'm
I
not.
didn't hear about
well,
this.
I'm not sure.
I wanted to take part in this.
Yeah, I know. And now Just Eat has launched the Danish Takeaway Awards to recognize the invaluable contribution they and other takeaway outlets make to society. Saluting the nation's takeaway heroes, the nation has until October 31st to nominate their favorite takeaway restaurant. How about that? You can cast your votes
Our
here.
nominee was Project Bike and Bake. That's not the first thing that comes to my mind. Is not
No, not that
it's
kind of
not
baking.
It's not pizzas. No,
So, oh yeah, this guy. Remember, we actually did talk
No.
briefly. Yeah, we did. We talked briefly about this guy.
I don't know that.
He
guy
has
is.
a pizza thing in a bike stand, and he actually made a pizza for the Queen here.
Okay.
And she gave him a thank you note. He delivered a margarita to Queen Margrethe.
A margarita to Margrethe?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No. Okay. No, I don't think I've ever heard of this guy for it.
yeah, I thought we talked about him. I'm pretty sure we did. Maybe we left it out of the podcast because we thought it was too minor, but let's not make that mistake again.
No, I mean, now he seems to be a national hero. And especially if he bakes
We
pizzas to the Queen.
order from Just Eat pretty frequently. Hell, I get messages from Domino's Pizza about their special offer every weekend. But we stopped ordering Domino's because their quality went downhill.
They did?
Very shortly after they opened here. Yeah, yeah. Their delivery guys take way too long. Most of the places we order from Just Eat, like these pizza places like Flintstones and Coliseo and all these different ones. Seriously, they show up in like 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah, but maybe that's because nobody orders from them. So.
But that's not true. That's not true because it's one of the most popular ones on Just Eat, and it has like the elite status. Smiley's been going for years, you know? And anyways, Domino's, when we first ordered from them, yeah, they came here in 20 or 30 minutes too. It was fresh and it was good. Last few times we've ordered, man, it's like they put the pizza in the wrong size box, so it was like smushed over. It took an hour and 30 fucking minutes to get here. It was cold when it got here.
Time, yeah.
You know, I just, come on, man. I'm not
Did you complain?
Yeah, of course, but...
Did they give you a free pizza?
Why do I want a free pizza? Anytime they give you a free pizza like that, you've already been waiting too long and you're hungry to begin with. And then it's only for next time they're going to give you a free one. So it like doesn't fix the problem. Because the problem is not the money that I paid and got a shitty product. The problem is that I wanted a fucking hot pizza.
Yeah.
And you can't replace that with a voucher for next week.
I get you for it.
So,
I hear you.
Fuck Domino's.
I hear you.
But yeah, there's some takeaway places.
They're gonna take a huge dive on their sales now that you.
Yeah, I'm gonna contact them and be like, hey, by the way, we talked about how shitty you are on our podcast.
Yeah.
You better get your fucking act together and give me a lifetime free pizzas.
Well, not if you keep talking like this for it.
No, I don't
maybe,
want.
Maybe the Flintstones guy will give you a free.
Yeah, why would I want a lifetime
order.
of free shitty pizzas that are delivered like 2 hours late?
Damn.
Fucking Domino's.
Damn.
Get fucked.
Are you grumbling?
No, I'm not grumbling. It's an honest review. Hey, I mean, honestly, this podcast is more about reviews of good food around the city.
And bad ones, apparently. I like it.
Speaking of that, there's a new city center restaurant for McDonald's.
There's a what?
There's going to be another McDonald's at,
in the center
at Vesterbrogel and Roelhofsplassen. It says it right here.
On the exact same place?
I guess so.
Why do we need another one?
They're opening a large restaurant in Industry in Soos.
Okay, yeah, that's just across the street from the other one.
Yeah. No, the first outlet in the city center since it closed its premises on Stroll last December. And a previous McDonald's location across the road on Vesterbrogel shut down 3 years ago.
Oh, it closed. See, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I didn't
closed.
either. But so basically, they're going to reopen the new McDonald's.
Yeah,
in early 2018. 100 new employees. They'll have 260 square meters upstairs section and will be open 24 hours a day. The new system in which food will be prepared on the first floor and transported down to the ground floor via rails.
Wow.
Yo,
welcome to the fucking future. Can I have? You know what I want? I want an AI to figure out what is exactly what I want.
Exactly how many grams of that what's the sauce they put on there on those burgers?
Thousand
on the Big
Island?
Mac? No, yeah, the Big Mac. What do they call the sauce?
I don't know. Big Mac sauce.
Oh yeah, right.
No,
should have known that.
I want some AI to figure out exactly what I want to eat. Because I mean, so seriously, just think of, especially with women. Yeah, I'm stereotyping here. Especially with women, it's like, oh, so what do you want to eat? I don't know. You decide. Do you want this? Not that. Okay, what about this? Not that.
Oh,
okay,
that's the worst, man.
What do you want? So just some AI that will figure out exactly what it is
that you want right now.
That you want
in this moment.
And sometimes it's the same with me. There's just too much choice. I don't have like, oh yeah, I'm going to Flintstones because that's my.
Well, you don't go to Flintstones.
No, yes,
you call them
Flintstones
up. They come to you.
Yeah. Do they come riding on a dinosaur as well?
Yabba dabba do.
Okay. So No, yeah, fine. There's another McDonald's.
Yeah,
I
big
didn't
deal.
even notice that the other
Big
one was
deal.
closed. But
I've eaten
about the pizza guy, was there anything about the pizza guy, or it's just
No, I
actually
mean,
just praising that
so you
he?
can cast your votes until
Oh,
October 31st. You can, so that's for the next like 3 weeks now.
hmm.
You can go to dtaa17.dk and cast your votes who you want the Danish Takeaway Awards 2017, sponsored by Just Eat.
I don't think I'm knowledgeable enough about the takeaway for my
Shit.
vote to be
Oh, I think I'm
significant.
knowledgeable. I think
I
they
think
just,
so as well.
I just need an actual reward because like you have to give permission for all. Fuck that. I'm not giving permission for anything. I want like, can I win something?
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I vote?
Look up there. You can win a
What,
voucher on
for
Geocard for
1,000
1,000
crowns?
krona.
That's like 4 times. Like I could eat like 4 meals with that. That's nothing. I
Dude,
need
for the price you pay, which is spending 5 minutes of your life and giving your email.
I need a fucking trophy and a bottle of champagne.
Oh, you can buy a bottle of champagne with 1,000 krona.
Yeah.
Before I forget, Ford, because actually we didn't. I don't think we remember to open a tab about this. But Kulturnat is next Friday.
Oh, is it?
Yes,
Okay.
I think it's the 13th or 14th. I don't know.
So the
But
culture
it's
night.
next. Yeah, 13th.
I never went out and did anything on those
You
nights.
never did?
No.
Oh, I really recommend it. It's a lot of, especially if you've never done it.
Maybe I'll do it this time.
It's a lot of fun.
Are you going to go out again?
Well, the thing is, I've been
Oh, so
every
it's not that
year.
fun.
Well, I've been every year for like 6-7 years, you know.
Yeah.
And then there's only so many places that you find interesting to go to.
Yeah.
I've been at the Freemasons,
Okay.
like 2 or 3 different Freemasons places.
The Illuminati.
Well, no, not the Illuminati, but I don't know if they're still doing it. But several years ago, I was at the Knights Templar, and I don't know if you know what the Knights Templar are for, but it's some Indiana Jones shit, you know.
Yeah.
It's like stuff from back in the Dark Ages or something like that, with like those long capes. It reminded me of the Crusades, actually.
You think Scientology is
And
giving
they-
out free personality tests on Culture Night?
most certainly, most certainly.
Yeah, we actually got offered, or I got offered a free personality test.
You should
by
do it.
No, fuck no.
Why not? Are you afraid of the results for it?
Of course not.
Then why not?
They try to get all your information so they can blackmail you.
Well, just give them fake information.
Fuck that, man. You don't know what those creepy motherfuckers got in there.
You just give them fake information.
Bro, they have you there.
You know,
They
just
could
think
just
of
tie you down to the chair and like
just think
torture
of
you.
someone you don't like and say you're them. Just say you're Peter Masson. You know, where you live? Live at the Arbor. You know, just say something stupid like that.
I feel like they're not going to believe me. I feel like they're going to put the polygraph
you're not
on
going to
me.
believe them either. So it's
Anyways, I
quid pro quo.
saw some people commenting on Reddit about that too, that they were like heads up. But yeah, if somebody offers you a free personality test, it's the Church of Scientology.
I might take it.
Really?
Yeah, if I'm not in a rush.
Would you join the Church of Scientology?
Well, I don't know enough about them. Well, actually, I do know enough about them to actually feel that I would not.
Yeah, I don't think.
But maybe they'd be able to brainwash me. You know, we're all
brainwashable.
brainwashable. Anyway, back to Kulturnat.
Yeah,
It's if you don't know what it is, it's basically a night or Friday night from 6, I think probably around 5 or 6 in the evening to throughout the night. A lot of places in Copenhagen basically become like a bit like a museum. So they become open for people to just go in and see what happens in there. So you can go to Christiansborg, to the parliament. You can go to Børsen, and anywhere. There's all these museums. All the like you can go almost any place.
can you go into like the catacombs or something?
Yeah, you can go to the catacombs. I've been there as well.
I heard that was pretty cool. I don't know if it was you or somebody else I heard from, but like the underground, the cisterns, and all that stuff seems
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I liked it. I liked it.
I'll check it out. It's not very expensive, right? You can get a ticket at like 7-Elevens and stuff. It's like,
Yeah, it's like
100
100
crowns.
krona.
Yeah.
The worst part, and I actually do think that it's become worse in the past few years.
What's that?
It's the lines, because the really popular places
Oh, they're like
they have
line
long
around the block.
fucking lines.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes
and
sense.
you might need to wait like 45 minutes. It's like fuck that.
That's the same way it got with Science and Cocktails. Like if you
Yeah.
when Science and Cocktails is running, if you don't show up like
Yeah, like
an
1 hour
hour
earlier.
early, you're not going to get a seat, and you're going to have to sit on the floor in
Yeah.
there.
For me, that's the worst thing about Kulturnat, because I think it became so popular, because it is
It's
really
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of activities that you can do. You just look at the program. There's certainly going to be something interesting for you to do, or to look at, or whatever. There's a friend of mine a few years ago. I was meeting up with him, and he was at some church, because all the churches are open as well.
Yeah.
He was at some church, and I think they were giving out free wine. He got so drunk before I met him. He got so drunk just from blood of Christ. Is it the blood of Christ as well in
Yeah,
like in non-Catholic, in Protestant?
Isn't that right? It's like
Christianity?
I don't know enough
You don't
about
know.
religion, but I mean, don't they say like take the body of Christ and they give you the wafer or whatever? And
Yeah, I don't know exactly what that is. I don't know if it's flour, but yeah, my grandmother ate a lot of that shit. I don't think I ever did,
No,
but then again, I don't think I've ever been that much at church.
church going guy.
No,
No, me either.
I was at I actually have catechism. Is that the word, catechism? Like when you're a kid and you go to, it's kind of like religious school. Like it's just like some kind of religious classes.
Yeah, well,
that
they have
there is
like
in
a camp.
Portugal.
They'll like send you to church camp and stuff in
No,
the
okay.
U.S. or something like
this
that.
is like a once a week, 1 hour
Oh, like a
religious class thing that, at least in Portugal, I don't know how popular it is. Probably not too much. Probably less and less. But then that after you complete it, you can technically become a godfather. I think it's called catechism in
Okay.
English as well. Anyway, my grandmother, she wanted me to attend those when I was a kid. I don't know how old I was, like 6, 8, something like that.
Yeah. What'd you say?
And I went to 2 of them. She even paid me. She paid me to go there, you know?
Yeah, like a
She's
little entice.
Here's I don't know, 200 escudos. I think that was, it's like, nowadays it's €1, but back then it was a bit more. So she would even give me money for 1 hour a week. But me, like a true artist, you know, I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking sell out. If I'm not feeling this shit, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
No, I remember, like,
So you went twice, and
the
that's
first,
it?
yeah, the first or the second time I even cried. It's like, I don't want to do this shit anymore, Mom. Come on. And yeah, to this day, that's all the classes I had. Holy shit! I remember I was falling asleep on I think the second time I was there, I was literally almost falling asleep.
Yeah, I went to a private, like an Episcopal school in the U.S.
But that's general school, right? Like for
from like 3rd grade until like 12th grade. So, and actually, it runs there. That one runs from kindergarten until 12, or 1 through 12. It was like a private boarding school.
Mhm.
But they had every week on Wednesday, they had like a chapel session for like 30 or 45 minutes. And it was a non-denominational Episcopalian school. So there was like, there was Christians and Jews and everything, and everybody had to go to chapel, but you didn't necessarily have to participate. Like, for instance, if you were Jewish, you didn't have to sing all the Christian hymns and stuff like that.
How considerate.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I never found it really that exciting. It was just like a free 30 minutes where I could just sit down and not worry about doing schoolwork, I guess.
So you were there until 12th grade?
No, I left a little bit early. I left that school around 10th grade or something like that.
And that was in the South.
Yeah, that was in Texas.
Yeah. Not so surprising.
But it was a great school. It's one of the top boarding schools in the U.S., actually. I think they have like 100% of kids there go to university, and yeah, like, I don't know, a really high percentage of them go to Ivy League and all that stuff. So it was an amazing school. I learned so much there. Like, I feel like if I never had went there, my deductive reasoning and like just a bunch of I wouldn't have learned a lot of things that I did learn if I hadn't been there. So
you don't know, Ford. Maybe it'd be even better. Maybe it'd be even a better person.
Maybe.
I mean, you're already a wonderful person, Ford.
Tommy Lee Jones went there.
Who's Tommy? The actor?
Yeah. Come on, bro. There you go. What a lineage. Hit you with that fact.
I can say it. Who went to my schools that... yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can say
Tommy Lee
anything
Jones
like
didn't
that.
go to your school. That's right.
No, for sure not.
All right, what else we got, Dolph? Man shot dead in Copenhagen suburb.
Yeah, well, go to Kulturnat before we change the subject. I really recommend it.
All right.
So, man shot dead in Copenhagen suburb. Should we try to guess which suburb? I already know actually.
Yeah. What would you have guessed? What are the top three you would have guessed?
Well, first I would probably say Norpo
Okay.
because
There's been some shootings there lately.
yeah. Then I don't know. Then I'd probably say somewhere around Albertslund or something like that.
Okay.
Which probably, I mean, it's Glostrup, so or Brøndby. Yeah, Glostrup.
Okay.
It's around there. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me as
Well,
much.
it turns out this 21-year-old man has died of his injuries after being shot last night near Brøndby Stadium. He was taken to Glostrup Hospital, so right in that area, Dolph.
Yeah.
The police are still gathering evidence in the vicinity of the stadium. They've cordoned off the area. They're going to forensically examine the car in which the man was brought to the hospital, and they've also appealed for any witnesses. There's not really any other
There's no more
information.
information.
No, they don't know yet if the shooting was gang related, but you got to feel like could be, right?
I'm going to Glostrup next Saturday.
And Brøndby, this is the area where they have all this fucking football hooligans. Like, what is it about this team? Everybody's fucking nuts about this team, or just everybody just destroys the street and gets in fights and does stupid shit around the football matches for Brøndby?
I don't know. The only thing I know is that they are, I guess, together with FCK, they're the two biggest teams in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
So of course there's some, and they're kind of, I'm sure there's some kind of history, like the way FCK was created, and it was I think it was a merging of some other teams. I don't know much about this.
This whole violence around sporting events is so fucking stupid, though. Don't you think? I mean, come on, man. Are you gonna beat another guy to fucking death because you like your football club? You're like, I identify.
Dude, it's your identity, you know?
But why? Why do you identify with like you yourself? That's my team. Like, who fucking cares? It's a fucking team.
I know
you're not on it. You're not on it.
It's a bit difficult to explain. I think it's not very different than you identifying as being American or from whatever country, you know, and you're gonna, maybe not you, certainly not everybody, but most people or a lot of people will have a sense of identity and pride in where they're from. And,
sure.
and it's similar because I mean I feel it myself because it's a big thing in Portugal as well, you know. There's like three big teams. So when you're born, it's almost like when you're born, you kind of are born into one of those clubs, and you don't change. That's one of the things you don't. It's just like you don't change your blood type, you don't change your football club.
But if you go to one of those matches, and some other rival team is there, and some of their fans are talking shit to you, are you going to physically like get involved in violence with them because you don't?
Not me.
That's what I'm saying. Why do people do that shit? It's ridiculous, man. It's just a fucking game.
Dude, I don't know. There's alcohol there. It's not just a game for some people. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I certainly don't think it's right. Also, I mean, just to clarify, this is not related to a game, right? It just happened next to the stadium.
It happened near the stadium. Yeah, I don't know if it's related to a game or not. It's just I hear a lot of bullshit around anytime there's like a match at this stadium. I know that there's always some rapscallions and some bullshit going on. So I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it was related, but yeah, I don't know if there was a game around
those people just live their football in a very different way than you do for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a sad deal. I think that's the first time I've in a little while that we've seen somebody die from a shooting here in Denmark. Usually they just get shot at and the shooter misses.
Yeah, that's
I mean, seriously though, I mean, there's a lot of reported shootings here with not a lot of reported injuries or significant injuries. So I guess that's a positive thing.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like this in the States, right?
No.
Which reminds me that the whole Las Vegas.
Yeah, we never talked about that because it's that was recent.
That was very recent. Do you wanna just give a quick? I mean, I'm sure almost everybody. Yeah, almost everybody.
Oh man,
knows about this.
So yeah, some guy just like meticulously planned some mass shooting and rented out a hotel with a perfect view in the Las Vegas Strip in Mandalay Bay and just shot up a concert there. Killed like 59 people, injured like 500.
It's like the biggest mass shooting
it is.
Is it ever? Or?
I don't think it's ever because Anders Breivik, right? I think he killed more people. So in terms of fatalities, it might not be the biggest in the world, but it is certainly the most fatal in the
in
U.S.
America, yeah.
because the Pulse nightclub, I think, was the previous record holder,
Hmm.
and that was like I want to say 49, 50 ish,
Yeah,
and this time it's 59 plus 500 injuries. It's certainly the most number of actual injuries too. I think from a
yeah.
single shooter,
So
500 people.
the numbers are just going up and up.
Yeah, I mean, every time too. I mean, I don't know if you've seen this video about how not to glorify shooters and
Yeah,
telling the news media, okay,
yeah.
don't mention his name, don't talk about the body count,
Hmm.
don't talk. They do the exact opposite every time. Um,
Well,
I think
it's
it's a cultural problem. It's just completely a
I
cultural problem in the U.S. The amount of violence that's okay and acceptable and glorified in the U.S. is insane. You will take your kids to see an action film where somebody blows up another guy with a rocket launcher or cuts his head off, whatever, and that's okay for your kids to see. But God forbid they see any nudity or any like sexual contact. Like that's completely disallowed. Even with R-rated movies, you can't see any genitalia really. You only see like the breasts. There's no like penetration or whatever. It's this weird like Puritan. I don't
well,
know.
yeah, I know what you mean,
You
but
know what I mean?
it almost sounds like you're
It's
just
so comical that you can see some like hyper violent shit, but it's not okay to see
yeah, I know.
like any sort of like natural, like love or sexual
I
contact
know.
between humans.
I agree. There should be more penetration in
I agree. I totally agree.
R-rated movies.
You
That's
damn.
what you're saying.
Well, you know what I mean. It's
I
just
know, fully.
strange where even the R-rated movies are so
I
um
know.
I don't know censored or whatever you want to call it.
I don't know. I feel it's.
Don't you want to see Quentin Tarantino make like a legit porn flick like not a porn flick but like a movie like in his style that has no restrictions, you
There's
know?
already a movie a little bit like that. It's called. It was actually a movie that influenced Kill Bill.
Okay.
It's a Swedish movie. It's called Thriller.
I've never heard of it.
It's um. It's a revenge movie. It's actually. I mean, it's a B movie. You know, it's not like a really fancy movie or anything.
Sure.
But it's a movie where it's basically a revenge flick, and it's a girl that gets revenge for something. I don't know if she got raped or what it is. And just like Kill Bill, she comes for revenge, and she learns how to shoot shotguns, and she wears an eye patch. And I think that's one of the things that Tarantino
Took.
stole,
Yeah.
whatever, did homage to on Kill Bill, because you have the nurse. I forgot her name.
Yeah.
Daryl Hannah's character
Yeah.
with the eye patch. So yeah, the movie is called Thriller. I think it's from 1972. It's basically an exploitation film.
Film.
And the thing about that movie is that there is actually a hardcore porn scene there.
Okay.
So there is actually penetration in close up.
Perfect.
And it's just a short thing. So the movie itself is not really a porno, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, I guess, just like how you'd put a sex scene in a movie. But on that one, they didn't
Yeah,
just.
it's just a little it's not
It's not just
restricted.
simulated,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is it just makes you wonder like why is that okay that you see like all this hyper violent shit but that's not okay. That's like the one thing that's off limits.
It's religion for it.
Of course, but
It's only religion that basically made sex taboo, right?
mhm. But then why is violent like hyper violence and all that stuff okay?
Well, because you need to justify the crusades somehow.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that first off,
I'm
I mean that
Catholic.
shit was obviously that's terrible, man. Like that dude was sick in his cold calculations. I mean, I think he rented that room out like 10 months in advance. He had like 17 or 19 AR-15 style rifles up there.
Dude, if you're gonna do it,
He
you
had
might as
two
well.
two bipods. He had a hammer to break out the window. He
Yeah.
had cameras all in the hallways so he could see when people were coming to try to stop him. I mean, pretty much. Apparently, there was some pictures that was leaked from the crime scene. There was like a notepad there and a
Mhm.
pen, and people thought that was some suicide notes. No, it was just there were some numbers on there. He had basically calculated like the different angles or the azimuth where he needed to shoot to be able to hit a certain range,
Mhm.
like how much he would have to shoot above the target to have the bullets land where he wanted.
Yeah.
And he even tried to get some tracer rounds as well, but wasn't able to get them because they were out of stock, which arguably would have made him even more
Deadly.
efficient or deadly. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. It's fucking nuts,
He's
though, man.
amping up the fucking game.
Every time. I mean, every single time we see it, it seems like it's a new record. I mean, certainly this will probably not be the record for long. You know, there will be another guy now.
How do you fix this for it?
Uh, I don't think there's any short term fix at all.
No, 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 no.
No.
Definitely not short-term fix.
Long term, the real fixes for this problem. I mean, clearly people are unhappy. People don't do things like this unless
No, yeah. Well, yeah.
something has gone significantly wrong with their entire life.
Hmm.
And I think part of that is the culture itself and the quality of life for people. I think one thing that you could do that would significantly improve people's quality of life is start to address the massive
Inequality.
inequality in terms
Hmm.
of economic inequality and educational inequality and the healthcare inequality. It's like if you have money in the U.S., you're set. If you don't, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, this guy had money, so I don't know if you can say that strictly that was his only problem, but just in general, the quality of life, if in the U.S., I feel is subpar compared to Denmark for me. So quality of life that could be a lot better. Maybe addressing some of the violent culture. Um, it's just so hyper violent, man. Everything's so macho and so over the top.
Yeah, but you have
Us
that,
versus
you
them.
have that macho culture in many other countries, especially like in Eastern Europe. You still see a lot of it and stuff like that. But you don't see the
That same type of or that
no.
same
I mean,
level.
you don't have the same accessibility to guns either. I don't know if that's the main reason. I
Yeah.
I feel that.
Well, this is
Do I
not even
really
yet
want to go into
addressing
this?
the gun thing, right? But yeah, that's probably also a big deal, right? I mean, being able to access a
Easy access to guns.
easy access to a pretty high caliber semi-automatic rifle. I mean, if you've
Hmm.
ever shot like a semi-automatic rifle, the feeling of power that you have and the feeling of realizing that holy fuck, man, like you've got a serious piece of equipment.
Hmm.
Like at 100 meters, even with iron sights, just like not even having a real scope, just having the little iron sights on the
Hmm.
gun. At 100 meters, you can hit a man-sized target every time standing.
Every time.
Yes. I mean, you just cover whatever the target is with the sight and you're going to hit him at 100. I mean, you don't need to be an expert. So it's a lot easier, for instance, than just a pistol. First off, just because of the accuracy, and then because it's a rifle round and the barrel's longer, and just the physics involved, it's so much more energy as well. So it like those rounds are way more deadly. Whereas if you
Hmm.
hit a guy with a pistol round, maybe it's non-life threatening. You hit him with a rifle round, it's suddenly life threatening.
Yeah.
Um, then combined with the fact that you can have 30 to 100 rounds ammunition without having to reload. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's you know, you give a lot of power to somebody that has something like that. And obviously we've made what like grenade launchers and rocket launchers, like a certain level of things that you can't just go buy at the store. And to be fair, you actually can get a grenade launcher. You need a special license and all kind of other stuff, and you still can't buy the explosives for it. Like so, you could buy the launcher but not buy the grenades, kind of thing.
Can you make them at
I
home?
doubt it. Well, maybe you could, but I don't think it's an easy operation. But I mean, there's so obviously we've decided that there's a certain level of firepower people shouldn't have access to,
Hmm.
and we've decided to draw the line there at like semi-automatic rifles is still okay.
Yeah.
Which maybe, I mean, I had one. I built my own AR. I had one. It was great. It was a lot of fun to shoot at the range and stuff. I never really, you know, I just got it because I could, and
Hmm.
because it was fun to shoot at the range. And I also thought, hey, you know, what better weapon for home defense if I had to have. You know, I mean that's a pretty powerful deal.
Yeah.
You know, if you're thinking into the world scenarios, zombie survival kit, I mean, you probably want a real rifle in there, not just a pistol. So, in that sense, because they're available, because they're yeah, I mean, it's kind of an American thing, right? You're like it's a bit of a patriotic thing to own a gun. Every
Did you have it in your fucking
able-bodied
constitution?
yeah, every able-bodied man should probably have one kind of thing. So, just the availability of them and the fact that there's so much access to really high power firearms and stuff like that. I think in combination with the violent culture, it's just not a good combo. So I think it's a multi-pronged approach. I don't think you can just say ban firearms only, and this will solve the issue. Um,
No.
but I think you got to start addressing all three of them at the same time: the culture, the hyper violent culture, the mental health aspect, the healthcare aspect in general.
Hmm.
Just give people fucking healthcare, man. Like, yeah, imagine you have some terminal brain tumor and you're gonna die, and the country, and it would be preventable if only you had money, and you can't do that. Imagine if you wanted to give like a final fuck you to the country that won't
Yeah.
help you. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
there could be guys like this that have some weird medical condition that in any other country they could get help for, but there they can't, and they just decide to go on a rampage or something. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know about this situation in
No, no,
general,
no, no. But it makes sense. It makes
but I
sense to me
mean,
what you're saying. Yeah.
you know, you could imagine like a situation like that. So the healthcare, the mental health, the violent culture, and then I think too, you have to do something about the level of firepower that you allow people to have access to.
Hmm.
It's too much. I think at this point, it's you can realistically say it's probably too much. It's not just the bump stocks thing. I mean, he had a bump stock apparently, at least on one weapon. You can also modify those rifles to shoot fully automatic. So basically,
What's
even
a bump stock?
a bump stock is just a device that you replace the original stock. The stock is the part that goes against your shoulder. You know, it's usually wooden or plastic.
Hmm.
A bump stock is one that basically has some.
More stabilized or
No, no. I mean, the original stock has it contains the gas recoil system, like a spring mechanism and all that. But this has a separate kind of a spring mechanism or something. And basically, as you shoot, the rifle recoils back, and this stock kind of keeps your finger fixed in a position so that as the rifle recoils back, the trigger comes back with it. And then as it comes forward back off your shoulder, you push the trigger again by just holding your finger in the same spot. So every
mm,
time you shoot, the recoil causes you to continue shooting in like a
yeah,
fully automatic style.
yeah.
Sure, that probably shouldn't be legal either. And I mean that's something that the NRA and the Republicans are now saying, okay, we're open to banning that. Yeah, you're right. That might be a little too far. But that's also like their little scrap that they're willing to give because they know that they're not really going to lose the real deal, which is the semi-automatic rifles, the really high-powered rifles. So, and this isn't just like an AR-15 style rifle problem. I mean, any semi-automatic rifle that can accept the capacity of more than, let's say, 10 or 20 rounds at a time. I mean, it's like a battle rifle,
Mm.
you know? You don't need that for
No,
hunting.
you don't. It depends what you're hunting, but yes, I know you don't.
Yeah. Um,
You know, I always a part of me always actually liked the Second Amendment.
yeah.
You know, I always liked the idea of people being able to own guns and not having that ever been taken away from you, like having that as a right.
Yeah. And I think for the most part, I think you could argue that the percentage of people that's very responsible about it
Hmm.
is pretty damn high. Like overall, the amount of incidents you have relative to the population and relative to the amount of guns that you have is pretty fair enough. Like it's not that bad. But then again, you still have
Maybe,
daily shootings.
yeah,
You still have in the same time since this event unfolded, I think you have at least 4 or 5 gun deaths that don't include suicide every single day in the US.
yeah, yeah.
So I mean, even though the guy killed 60 people, in 15 days 60 people will have died to gun violence
Hmm.
outside of a mass shooting
Yeah.
style event.
No,
And on top of that, it just I don't know. I go ahead. You got some.
I mean, the thing is, even though I really like the idea of it, it's a bit hard to argue with, for example, Australia's case where they
Mhm.
had a mass shooting, I don't know, several years ago, many years ago, I think, 10, 15 years ago. And then all of a sudden they banned guns because I think they had some laws somewhat similar to the US.
Sure.
And well, guess what? There's been no more mass shootings since then, as far as I know.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's hard to argue with the fact that not having legal access to guns, or at least as easy and legal access to guns, um, how am I going to phrase this? Not having it's double negative here. Anyway, that it's a good thing to not have easy access to guns like that. But I still personally believe that it goes much deeper than that, and it's a matter of people feeling disenfranchised, feeling a lack of support. Like just thinking of the idea of suburbs, you know, like
Mhm.
of a place where you have this big ass house, but you're just far from everybody. You're far from everything. You can't just go out and see people. Well, maybe if they're on their garden or something, but I don't know. It just feels so isolationist to me, you know.
Yeah.
And we were raised to, or we evolved to grow up in tribes and in small tribes, you know.
Mhm.
And it just, this culture of individualism, and I feel it in myself, because it's so easy for me to just spend time at home alone, and I feel that it affects me. Like as soon as I get out of my apartment,
And
I
around other
feel
people.
different just by being outside and just by seeing people, even if it's people I don't know.
Yeah.
And another thing that I've noticed is that if I interact with anyone, for example, when I go to work, I walk to work every day, and it takes me like 20, 25 minutes to walk to work. So I pass a lot of people.
Mhm.
If I interact with anyone by any chance, by any, yeah, just, it doesn't matter what kind of interaction it is. It might just, for example, whenever I pass one of the groceries on Istegel, I
Yeah.
know the guy there. So if he's out changing the apples or whatever, and if he sees me, we say hi to each other. Or I know like some guy on another cafe on Istegel that we all, if I see him, we say hi. Just those small things, I notice that my attitude right before them and right after them is different.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
You feel a sense of community or a sense of
Y-
connectedness
yeah.
to other
I mean,
people.
it's not like, oh, I'm so depressed, and then hi, and then whoa, I feel great. It's
Right.
not like that. It's a lot smaller. It's the same thing that I've noticed when I used to take the bus every day. If when you show the, like your bus pass or whatever to the driver, most of the times they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
If they actually look at you in the eye and they smile, it just made me feel so different.
Gives you a little boost.
Yeah, and I don't know how to explain what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, when you have societies that basically are all about individualism and things like
Mhm.
this, I mean, it's great if you are like fucking Floyd Mayweather or Leonardo DiCaprio or stuff like that, where you have just an entourage behind you, and you have always people just following you and thinking you're great, and you can basically get whatever you want.
Yeah.
But then when you're maybe a 50-year-old guy whose wife left him or his wife died or whatever, and you're living in the middle of the fucking suburbs, you don't know anyone, and then you just spend times at home alone because you don't have any friends, and I don't know, you start drinking because how else are you gonna fix this? And then all of a sudden, like, what's the point of living, you know? And well, guess what? I have all these amount of guns at home because I used to go to the shooting range and I used to like it,
Yeah.
but now I'm like, there's not really any point in living anymore. Fuck, what am I gonna do? Maybe I'll just kill myself. Oh wait,
Go out with a
fuck the
bang.
world, you know?
Yeah, get the new high score.
I don't know. Of
It's
course,
fucked
it's
up.
just a theory, but
It's fucked
I
up.
really believe that more important than banning the guns, and I'm all for banning the guns, but more important than that, it's something with the culture, and it's not necessarily American culture. I think it's more like modern or postmodern or whatever culture, and all this sense of individualism and every man for himself, and
I can agree
let's
with that.
all be rich or else there's no point in,
Yeah.
like, you're a loser. You know,
Yeah.
that's an American thing. It's like let's all be
Let's
rich
all
and the
be
American
rich
dream.
and unique and individual and powerful. And if you're not, then you're not really worth anything. And then I think you do have a point about the kind of suburban nature and the individualistic or isolationist nature is very easy. For instance, when you like if you ever sail and you go out into the ocean and there's
Hmm.
no other boats around you that you can see, you become your own island and you become like the god of that island. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
anything that happens on that boat, it's in your own universe. And so you have more control or more say or more, I don't know, power or influence over anything that happens in your island and your territory. And you're disconnected from everything around you that could influence you or give you any sign of what normal is. And so when you're also disconnected in like maybe let's say a suburban environment and you're not hanging around with people, you have no reinforcement on a day-to-day basis of what's normal, what's allowed, what's accepted, what's viewed by the society as okay.
Hmm.
And you can start to branch out into your own thoughts and own, I don't know, perception of what is okay or what's wrong or what's right. And I think it can be a little dangerous that, to the point where you can get really off track. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
you can really stray very far away from what maybe normal society kind of accepts as okay behavior or yeah, accepted cultures and things like that. And so I think that you're right. Like part of that individualism and isolation thing. I mean, people can go seemingly really long periods of time without much human interaction other than like posting on Facebook and Twitter,
Yeah.
like the ideal version of what they want to be portrayed as or seen as and stuff like that.
I mean, I think the main difference between what you said and what I was at least trying to hint at is that if you're completely isolated like that, I mean, yeah, you're probably going to feel lonely. Maybe you'll go even a bit crazy. But I mean, you don't. You're just surviving. You're just doing whatever it is that you either like to do. If you're selling because you like it, and you just go from port to port. But the thing is, if you're actually just speaking on the example that I was trying to say before, like yeah, your life sucks and your wife left you, whatever. But and then you turn on TV and all you see is basically like happy people because they have all these things that you don't have, and advertisement, every single piece of advertisement, if you're a woman, it's like, okay, you need to look like this because then your life is going to be great, or if you're a man, it's like maybe you need to own this fucking car or whatever the fuck it is. And so at least if you're fully isolated from everybody, yeah, maybe you'll go crazy, maybe you'll go crazy. But if you're only isolated in a certain in this certain way that you're lonely, and but you're still go on Facebook and you see people posting pictures from their kids or their vacations or their whatever, them looking pretty.
Only showing the highlights of their
Yeah,
life.
and then you look at TV and there's advertisements just making you feel like shit if you don't own these things.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's much worse because then you really start feeling like, I mean, it happens to me every once in a while, I just find myself like, why the fuck do I need to buy this, like what
Yeah.
is this going to bring to me?
Yeah, it is. There's definitely a societal problem with just like the material culture of everything, the the fact that we live our lives throughout or that we seem to live our lives through social media and only highlights and like it's so messed up because like you share only like a snippet or you're like, oh, let me get the perfect shot so it
Hmm.
seems like I'm having a great time. That's why I stopped using social media. I don't fuck with that shit anymore. I just feel like I wasted so much time and
Yeah.
I'm only looking at what other people want me to see of their life rather than seeing what's really going on. And I think that's the worst part of it is that you're looking at highlights and then you look at your own life, which isn't just highlights. And you're like, it's easy to get into a comparison when you say, man, like this guy, look how great he's got it. And you don't realize, or maybe you do, but like some people will not really think about the fact that, okay, his life is probably just as normal slash shitty slash, yeah, whatever as
Hmm.
mine. He just happens to have this highlight, which is what I see and perceive as like his life.
Yeah.
And so this whole thing, I think social media and that whole culture is also a problem. The way we interact with society like that.
Yeah, but I think that is just more of a reinforcement of the
Symptom.
culture, yeah, that already exists rather
Yeah.
than the
Yeah.
the, the cause of it.
Yeah. So the material culture, the quality of life, the disparity, the inequality, the lack of access to good education, healthcare,
I mean, it's a bit
the
more
violent.
nuanced than just saying those words. But yeah, because I'm not against materialism by itself,
Sure.
I mean, just own whatever the fuck you want to own. I'm just not, I just don't think that
Shouldn't make
having
you
a culture that is so, where materialism is so ingrained in it, and it's basically you get your power, especially as a man,
get your power
you
from the
get your
things you have and
power
the money
from
you
from
have.
the from the well from the power you have, which basically money is a big part of it, or at
Yeah.
least status
Sure.
symbols, like having this awesome car. I mean, if you see someone driving a fucking Ferrari, you're gonna look at them,
Yeah.
and there's no way that you're gonna look at that person the same way that you look at just a random dude that you see in the supermarket. There's no way, even if it's the same person.
Yeah.
Just because you see them in a Ferrari, you're gonna see them slightly differently.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a
Ah,
complicated problem.
yeah, it's
I
an
think it's a societal
that was
problem.
an end of rant. Let's move on.
Yeah.
What else is there?
What else we got? New EU rules. Spell longer
I
queues
need
in the
some water.
Copenhagen airport. from tomorrow, which is actually so yesterday, all passports on non-Schengen flights must be scanned. So if you're flying out of Copenhagen Airport to a destination outside the Schengen area tomorrow, you might want to arrive a little earlier than usual. New EU legislation means from passengers leaving to and arriving from outside the Schengen area will have to have their passports scanned when passing through security instead of just having to show them to security personnel.
I have to say that I don't think I've even noticed that you didn't have to scan your passports.
I don't think I recognize either.
I mean, I've noticed that if you go within the EU or within the Schengen area, actually, that you can even show up without a fucking passport that you
Yeah.
basically get through.
Yeah, you can
At
use
the
like
end
the
of the other
EU
country.
card or
No,
something.
not even that. They don't ask you for anything.
Yeah.
Don't ask you for anything. Like I've flown more than once
I love
where
flying
I
in the-
didn't show my passport at all.
I love flying in the Schengen area. It's so nice. Like, I mean, to be fair, air travel nowadays sucks compared to what it used to be in the maybe the early 90s and stuff like that. But
Well, but you could smoke in fucking flights in the early 90s still. You don't miss that at all.
no, I don't miss that. No. I don't know if you could smoke in the US flights in the 90s.
Maybe
I don't
not
think
the
you
US.
could.
I remember one of those today I learned, I think Lufthansa in 1992 was when they stopped.
Did you know 10 years ago was the last day that you could smoke a cigarette on the S train here?
10 years ago?
Yeah, like 200005, the last cigarette
Oh,
was
wow.
smoked on the S
that-
train. Isn't that crazy? Like, that doesn't
Okay,
seem
that's
that
12
long.
years. Yeah.
Doesn't seem that long
No,
ago.
That's shortly after I moved, shortly before I moved in 2008.
Holy fuck, can you imagine all those Danes smoking in the
Yeah.
fucking S train on a Friday
Yeah.
night after getting drunk? Oh, man, I couldn't handle that. But, anyways,
The
Air-
metro is also quite new. If we're going to talk about dates like that, I think the metro is from like 2002 or 2003.
or you can't smoke in it, you mean?
No,
or-
no, no, no. That the subway exists.
Oh,
the
that
metro.
it exists is
Yeah.
pretty new. Okay.
Still, I mean, you use it every day or almost every day.
Of course, of course.
So just imagine
No metro.
no metro.
Then I would have to take the regional train.
Oof.
Central
It's not
Station.
the
and
same,
walk.
huh?
It's the same distance. It's just the interval of trains is less frequent.
Yeah, but that's going to the city.
Yeah, that's right.
Going in.
Where else would I go? Vestama? I mean, there's only one direction for me to go from where I am, which is towards the city.
Sure,
I
but
mean-
if you want to go to Van Leuze, or I don't know why the fuck you want to go to Van Leuze, but
Yeah,
just any places that the metro now takes you, that you would need to switch to
I guess.
something else.
What I was getting at is that air travel sucks nowadays. It used to be better. But I will say that out of all air travel that I take nowadays, if I had my choice, I would rather travel in the Schengen area because it seems much more carefree. The security itself, the process is usually, I wouldn't necessarily say more lax because I feel like it's not like they're letting stuff through that they should find, but I feel like the process goes more smoothly and that they treat you a little more like a human, at least in the Copenhagen airport for sure. And yeah, you don't have all these other little bullshit things. Like when I go to UK, it's terrible. All the bullshit you have to go through answering questions about how long you're going to be there. And
For the UK?
yeah, for a non-EU citizen.
Oh,
going
for
to-
non-EU,
yeah,
okay.
Step in line.
Oh, jeez, no,
They-
yeah, that's
they-
something
they-
I don't
They
know.
put you in the line with
That's-
people from like,
That's something I don't know. But that's what happens to me when I go to the US for it.
well, of course. And look, hey, I'm not excusing it. Hey, I don't want to be like, wow, we're better. Because I think the US system for that shit sucks.
It's probably even worse.
Even if you're an American citizen, our flight security and check-in and all that, it's
Yeah.
terrible. They treat you like a fucking
Yeah. Take off your shoes.
garbage.
Let me see you naked now here in this
Yeah,
revolving scanner.
Yeah, let me feel right up your butthole. What do you got in there?
Are you hiding something?
Yeah.
No, I just need to take a shit.
Random screening.
Don't poke too much. You're going to regret it.
Yeah, don't poke the bear.
Isn't it the turtle?
Well, I mean, don't poke the bear is kind of like
It's a common expression.
it is, right?
Okay. I never heard. I don't know. I never heard it.
Don't anger the bear.
Okay.
Yeah, basically, don't poke the bear.
Yeah,
It's like
but,
what,
but
it's
the turtle is the one with the head coming out of the shell, and
yeah, but that's more like the Austin Powers thing where he says the fat bastard says I got a turtle head poking out.
oh, so it's from Austin Powers.
Well, that's where the whole turtle thing comes from. Yeah,
I had no idea.
yeah. When you got a turtle head poking out when you're
I thought
touching cloth.
I thought it was a Ford original.
No, that's not a Ford original.
I'm disappointed, Ford.
I just made it even better.
Yeah,
I improved it slightly in the delivery.
yeah. I agree.
So there you go. Look forward to some shittier queues in the airport. Lovely. I
Yeah,
wonder if they're
that's
ever gonna like. I wonder if I'm ever gonna see another article in my lifetime that talks about improving airline travel instead of just making it worse.
probably. You're still young for it.
You think it'll get better?
Yeah.
Are you ready for that Elon Musk shit where you can take a rocket to like
To Japan. Yeah,
in like 30 minutes?
I just heard about it yesterday for the first time. I was like,
Did you watch that
whoa.
video?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you got to watch that video, man.
Yeah, right after Forrest Gump.
No,
it's
but
there.
seriously, if you haven't, it's a 40-minute video. It's called like making humans multiplanetary species, or like and it's the SpaceX presentation about it's Elon Musk talking about how he wants to get to Mars by like 2022, which
Yeah.
is like 4 or 5 years ago, or 4 or 5 years away. I mean, we could be on Mars with some ships setting up a base to have like a refueling station and a Mars colony.
And
Isn't that crazy?
yeah, my friend was telling me that you're like apparently the atmosphere in Mars actually has methane,
Yeah.
so you can harvest it and
Yeah.
actually make energy from the air.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do. What they want to do, the whole thing goes over how the rockets work and the fueling system and the design and the scale. And the new rockets they're talking about are huge.
Oh yeah,
The BFRs, they're bigger than the Saturn V, and they can fly. You can basically go to the moon, land on the moon, and come back on like one tank of gas. Basically, I mean, you need to launch, you get into orbit, then another tanker comes up and fills you up.
Mhm.
And from there, you can fly all the way to the moon, land on the moon, and then launch again from the moon and come back to Earth on the same
Yeah.
tank that you left on. And you can also, if you leave the Earth, go into orbit and get filled up, you can fly all the way to Mars and land. Now, you need more fuel to get back. So that's why they need to make a fueling station that creates methane and liquid oxygen
Mhm.
on Mars, but that's possible.
Yeah, and then you can keep harvesting fuel there.
So in 2020, they want to send 2 of these rockets that are unmanned. I guess some of them with exploration gear to try to map out the
Oh, yeah,
planet and all the locations
some rover,
and everything.
something like that. Yeah.
And then also bring a lot of gear that they're going to ultimately need later to build the fuel processing stations. And then in 2022, 2 years later, they want to send 2 more missions. And I guess that time with people.
Well, yeah. Let's just say that with the deadlines,
It's an ambitious timeline.
yeah, I think it is as well. Especially
Yeah.
considering that I heard somebody saying that Elon Musk hasn't yet
Ever been good on deadlines?
ever.
Okay.
On the other hand, he has done everything that he said he was going to do.
Exactly.
That's extremely. Yeah, sure. I don't want to take anything away from
No.
him. I'm just saying that with regards to the deadline, maybe not 2020 and 2022.
But it's like
It's within our lifetime for sure.
what's the saying? Like shoot for the moon, land in the stars kind of thing, or whatever. I mean, you set a lofty goal and you either hit it a little bit late or you almost hit it
Mhm.
and it's still more than you ever could have hoped for. I mean, you never would have gone to the moon if you didn't fucking set that goal, and people didn't believe that was going to be possible.
I'm not trying to deny any
Yeah.
greatness in any of this. I think it's amazing.
And I mean, the last 15 times they've been able to launch those Falcon 9 rockets and then land the
Yeah.
booster back vertically on a fucking drone ship in the
that's
middle of the ocean.
pretty
I
fucking
mean,
impressive.
it is impressive. If you look at all the videos of how much time they spent on that and how many of them crashed, and now it's almost just like a routine thing.
You know, I don't even follow this shit that close. I just know a couple of people who follow it a lot closer. So every time there's something big, I hear about it.
Yeah.
But
It's pretty amazing.
this is probably somewhat similar to what the space age back in the 60s was like, right?
Yeah. There was probably,
I mean, there was a bit more. It was a bit more competitive because you're basically the two superpowers. It was a war
a
between
race
them.
for the high ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was some stakes there that don't exist nowadays. But at least if you're into the subject and into this topic, this is a very exciting. This is probably the most exciting time since the 60s, I would say.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm stoked, man. I think we'll look back in 20, 30 years and just be like, oh yeah, I mean, it was so obvious we should go to another planet. I don't know. If you haven't seen it, check it out. You can just search like multiplanetary species or something. It's the Elon Musk presentation on that. It's only about 40 minutes. But at the end of it, he talks about, well, this is cool. We're building these rockets that can go all kind of different places. And it's great to leave Earth. But what if we use it to go from a place on Earth to another place on Earth really quickly?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's basically like an ICBM, except it can land itself. So I guess the idea is, oh, you hop on a rocket here near the ocean, or you hop on a ship. It takes you out to a platform with a rocket waiting. You guys all get onto the rocket. It launches you from like San Francisco, and in like 20 minutes, you're in Hong Kong.
It's fucking amazing.
That's fucking awesome, man. I mean, that's got to be a hell of a ride.
Yeah.
A lot of G forces. I think you probably need to be in pretty good shape to handle a ride like that without blacking out or having some medical issue. But
Yeah,
it's
but as technology evolves, I'm sure it becomes more
more realistic,
user
more
friendly as
practical.
well.
I don't know,
It's just a
man.
matter of time. I can totally imagine that in like 40, 50 years.
Within our lifetime, we'll probably have another kind of colony on another planet or some orbital body.
Well, yeah, I wasn't even going that far. I was just thinking that, that in 40 or 50 years, there will be a chance, somewhat affordable. Well, what
For
is
you to go to
affordable?
space,
For me to go to the other side of the planet in
30
an
minutes.
hour. Yeah, 30 minutes, 1 hour. And if that happens, I'm sure that it's going to be easy to at least leave orbit. So just do one of those, was it Blue Origins? Things about leaving.
Yeah, Blue Origin. I think that's the Blue Origin. Is that the Amazon thing, or is that?
I don't know where they're from, but I think
I
it's
think
the
it's
ones
the guy
that
that owns Amazon, right? What's his name?
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, Bezos. He's got the Blue Origin, and then you also had the Virgin.
Yeah.
That's the other.
Yeah.
Richard Branson owns
Mhm.
Virgin. So all these rich dudes are like, damn, we just ran out of stuff to do with all our fucking giant piles of money. Like we have a
Yeah.
secret underground lair in the island somewhere, like Dr. Evil configuration. But at this point, we're just going to start launching shit into space, which I think is cool. What I really appreciate most about the SpaceX stuff that comes out and the Elon Musk is he's very ambitious in his goals. Like you said, like they're usually too ambitious, but he still
He makes it.
He makes the shit happen.
He makes it.
And also I really like it, especially in this presentation, they give you like actual models and mock-ups, and like they gives you so much technical information about how they're working on things. They're like, oh, here's our new rocket design, and like it's like it's what you would expect from a guy that's like a scientist or an engineer to like
Mhm.
show you. It doesn't. I mean, I know it's all a bit of a marketing and PR stunt in a way, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like an Apple launch where it's like, oh, our processors are 2 times faster than the old ones.
Yeah.
And whatever. It's like, oh, here's our new rocket that can deliver like this much thrust and whatever. I mean, I guess in some way it's similar, but it feels so much more consequential because it's like, okay, we can launch 150 tons into space now for like a realistic price.
It's good times for
Fucking
it's
amazing.
exciting.
times.
Yeah, I think it's pretty exciting. And I'm not even one of the biggest
You're not like a space nerd.
space nerds. No, far from it.
No.
But I do think it's really exciting, and I do think it's how do you call it? that it's one of the things that it really is propelling technological advances and society and technology and all that very much forward.
It's such an inspiration.
That as well, yeah.
It gives people like some hope or some forward looking vision that it's not just like the everyday day to day, like, okay, I'll go to work today, make some money. One day I'm going to retire.
Yeah.
It's like, man, like I never would have thought in 10 years or 20 years, like we're going to have a colony on another planet.
Dude, I think it's not very different from all those underdog stories, you know? Like somebody was born in a poor neighborhood and then he overcame all these adversities and he became a millionaire. Yeah, woohoo! He's a good person. He's not a loser anymore.
Yeah.
But in a way, it's somewhat similar because it's us as except it's a humankind thing. It's like we're not really meant to be in fucking Mars, you know?
Yeah.
We can't even breathe up there.
We came from sticks and stones and beating each other over the head
now
and putting
we're
each other
putting
on
ourselves in
crosses, and now we're launching
another
a
fucking
rocket.
planet that is not even habitable for us.
Yeah, and
It's
we're and
fucking
we're and
crazy.
we're basically building a rocket from the dirt. You know, like all the metal and everything. Like
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you know, we've refined some dirt into some metal and
Yeah.
fucking shaped this into like a massive tool for launching
Put some
ourselves into.
fucking glue here,
It's
and
crazy, man. When you really think about
it is really
human
exciting and crazy.
ingenuity and, well, I mean, when we put our mind to something, I guess we really want to do it.
And if you don't find this crazy enough, if you smoke some weed and if you watch these stories, it really, how do you call it, amplifies the power and the
Yeah.
magnitude
You
of these
should
achievements.
maybe that's what you should do. You
Me?
should smoke a little bit and then watch that making humans a multiplanetary species. You're gonna like it, man. It's not boring. I mean,
Dude, if I smoke weed, I'm gonna like watching a
okay,
fucking cat taking a shit.
but I will I will say that Elon Musk is not a very good presenter. He's very awkward. He's like got a lot of social anxiety. He's awkward.
Really?
He's not a smooth
Yeah.
presenter.
Not
But
not not Steve Jobs there.
no, but it's also almost endearing. And the thing is, like, the stuff he's talking about is so consequential, and like you can tell that it's been thought about, and he's brilliant enough that even though he doesn't have the most polished public presentation, that it's still compelling and
Mhm.
interesting. But yeah, maybe that's what you should do.
Yeah,
Watch that Prezzo.
we'll see. Maybe I'll just get if I smoke some weed, maybe I'll just get stuck on the cat videos.
It's very possible. So what else we got? We're not running out of time, but we're getting near the
No, we're talking about
near the
running
end.
and runways for it.
Copenhagen's bike bridges, a runaway success story.
Dude, this bike bridge, the one in the picture, which is I think it's called Slangelinjen.
Sukerslangen,
Sukkerslangen.
the bicycle snake.
It's the red one next to Fisketol.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've mentioned it here before in the podcast. It's one of my favorite things in Copenhagen. At least one of my favorite things that didn't exist when I came here and now exists.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. And I never bicycle, so I don't even use it that much. But it just saves so much time. It's so awesome. I love it.
Now, was this one of the bridges that they had a little trouble with?
I don't think so. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't remember.
They don't remember.
But I think this was before the time that they were fucking up bridges left and right.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to be fucking up bridges on a regular now. But whatever, this one got finished somehow, and it's a good one.
This is a great one.
According to the figures collected by the Copenhagen municipality, around 120,000 people use the cycle bridge over the canals on a daily basis. Wow, that's a lot of people daily.
120,000 people daily.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a lot of people. That's counting also Donning Louise's whole.
I guess so. Oh yeah, this says
and all of
120
those.
people. 120,000 people use the cycle bridges over the
Yeah.
canals. Okay, so not just this one. But
Is that considered a canal? The lakes?
I don't know.
Because maybe. Oh, jeez. Okay. No, I'm just
then
overanalyzing
Yeah,
everything.
then we get into language discussions
exactly.
about Danish and all that. The figures also reveal that the bridges are a net gain for society in terms of minimizing CO2 and saving time. For example, it's estimated that Bugebroen has generated savings of 380 man hours, and at the same time, another bridge, Sukkerslangen, has saved around 1,400 kilometers that would otherwise have been driven in a car. I guess, is this for
14
one person saved?
Okay, 1,400 kilometers doesn't seem that much unless it's per person. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Which one is Bugebroen?
I don't know. Bugebroen. Let's look it up.
Islandsbrugge?
Oh, it says it could be this one, Bugebroen. Yeah, maybe they misspelled it. I don't know.
Which one? Which one is that?
This one.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, there would be no point in having or there would be much less of a point of having Sukkerslangen if this one didn't exist, because then you would still need to cross the
Yeah,
bridge.
I don't think there's a normal Bugebroen. I think it's Brugebroen. It's the one in Eastensburg.
Brugge, yeah.
So they misspelled.
Oh, okay, so they just misspelled
in their article. Good job, Copenhagen Post.
You can't really blame them. And if it didn't exist, our material for this podcast would be severely diminished.
Limited. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's great. I love the bridges, especially when they get them done correctly.
Yeah. I think it's great. I think it's great. They have 2 more bridges coming soon, right?
They do?
Mhm. A
I don't
number of
know.
new bridges are on the drawing board. 3 joint bike/pedestrian bridges will cross the harbor, Lilla Langbro,
Huh.
plus Little Long Bridge, plus 2 bridges crossing the congested roads of Fuglehaugen and Artilleryvej.
Okay, that's all around Amma.
Yeah.
Where what's the little Langabo that they want to do?
They did a challenge for the name or
No,
the
no, no.
naming on
Yeah,
this one.
but what exactly? Because Langabo goes from it goes to Amma or to Islandsbrug at least. But so what's Lille Langabo? Where is it gonna go from and to?
I'm trying to search this,
Or
but
maybe it's the same. It's just smaller because it's only gonna be for bicycles and pedestrians as opposed to cars as well. I could see that.
I don't
Never
know.
mind. For it doesn't exist yet, so you probably can't Google it.
Oh, well.
I like bridges. Do bridges. Just do them correctly.
Yeah, just build
Measure
them.
them
Yeah, measure them out, make sure
a
they
couple of
meet in
times,
the middle.
extra times. Yeah. Maybe make them too big and then just chop off something with whatever tool you use to chop off stuff
Sawzall, maybe. So what do we got upcoming for the podcast? Do we have any special plans?
for the podcast.
Well, today was
Oh,
on Sunday.
that's a trick.
So
Well, yeah, but that's because I couldn't do it yesterday.
you had a headache yesterday.
I wasn't feeling that great.
Are you going to be on for this next Saturday?
No, I can't.
Okay, then we need to think about that.
Yeah, we'll just do it Sunday
Well-
again or Friday.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, I just can't Saturday.
Okay, I was just thinking if there's a time where you can't do it on one of these weekends,
Uh-huh.
of course we can always try to do it Tuesday as well. But I was thinking maybe we should try to get in touch with some other some podcasts. My girlfriend found one. There is there's another Copenhagen or like a new in Denmark type podcast, and then there's also your friend Jimmy who does the gaming one.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that if ever you're not able to make it one of these times, I could have like a guest on or be a
Holy
guest
shit,
on
for that,
somebody
you're
else's
trying to
podcast.
replace me already.
I'm not trying to replace you, Bill. I
It
want you
certainly
around,
feels
Dolph.
like that,
I'm
yeah.
just saying, if we miss doing the podcast on a week, I
Yeah.
feel a little empty.
You do? You don't think you can carry one just by yourself?
Just completely by myself.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a little.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you're just talking to yourself here.
I like it for it because it makes me feel a bit more useful.
Yeah.
Sure, do whatever the fuck you want. I mean, if I'm
All
not
right.
here, you can do just get someone else. I don't care. Just use your cat.
All right. So that's that, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Next Saturday I can't. I'm gonna play poker.
Check out Culture Night.
Yeah, check out Culture Night. I really recommend it.
Check out that Making Humans Multiplanetary.
Yeah, well, I can't recommend that yet because
I
I haven't
can.
watched it myself. But at least the topic seems to be interesting.
There you go.
What else? Any other recommendation for it?
Don't order from Domino's. The one in Anama, it kind of sucks. If you're gonna order pizza out here, try Flintstones Pizza or Coliseo Pizza and Grill from Just Eat. Oh yeah, don't forget to vote on the DTAA17.dk site, the Danish Takeaway Awards.
Yeah, my advice is don't get into any fucking submarines. They might actually have submarines on. Probably not submarines on Kulturnat. I was inside a tank once, like a real tank.
Keep your wits about you.
A real tank that's actually much smaller than one would imagine. Anyway, yeah.
All right. Well, that'll be it for us.
That's it for me.
For this
See
week.
you next weekend.
See you.
Ta-da.